Ever wonder why your New Year's resolutions vanish by February? Today, I will show you 3 proven strategies for sticking to New Year's resolutions and how small habits can transform your entire year. Most people do not fail at New Year's resolutions because they lack willpower. They fail because their goals are enormous mountains with no visible trail. When someone says, "This year I will transform my life," the intention is strong, but the path is foggy. Our brains respond much better to small, clear actions than to grand, abstract promises, and this is where real success begins. When you take a huge dream and break it into very simple steps, you create something the mind can actually process. Instead of telling yourself that you will become healthy, you choose something precise, such as walking lightly every morning for 20 minutes or preparing one homemade meal every evening. These small choices act like anchors that keep your motivation from drifting away. The power of tiny steps is not motivational poetry. It is cognitive science. When the brain registers an action as achievable, it gives you a small reward in the form of satisfaction. That reward becomes fuel. With each small step, you teach your mind that progress is happening now, not someday. This is why people who scale down their goals often outperform those with bigger ambitions. You build confidence one action at a time. Even more interesting is how these small steps start affecting other parts of your day. You take one walk, and suddenly you drink more water. You prepare one healthy meal, and suddenly you sleep a little earlier. It is like a domino effect where one small change quietly pushes the next. The irony is that most people skip this step because they believe that small changes are too small to matter. But every major personal transformation is built on modest beginnings. Think about a sculptor. He does not smash the stone into shape in one dramatic swing. He chips away at it bit by bit until the final form appears. Your brain works exactly the same way. The more you break your goals down, the faster your confidence grows, and confidence is what keeps you moving along after the initial excitement fades. Now that small actions have power, a question appears. How do you keep these small steps alive when life gets busy and your energy runs low? That brings us to the second strategy. You need visual cues that keep your goals visible. The mind is extremely reactive to what it sees often. When something is in your field of view every day, it starts to feel important. When it disappears, your attention follows it. This is why the second strategy is all about designing an environment that does not allow your goals to fade into the background. People often believe that motivation lives inside their mind, but much of motivation lives outside, in the physical space around them. Imagine that you want to start reading more. If your books stay hidden on a high shelf, you will read less. If you place one book on your desk or next to your breakfast plate, the chance of reading rises dramatically. The environment nudges you. The same is true for fitness gear placed near the door, affirmations on your mirror, or a habit note taped to your laptop. These visual cues act like gentle invitations. They do not shout, they whisper. But those whispers work day after day, and they help build a sense of consistency. There is another layer to this strategy: visual tracking. The act of marking progress on a calendar or checklist is more powerful than it appears. Our brains love visible progress because progress equals momentum. When you mark a day with a simple symbol, your brain interprets it as proof that you are moving forward. This creates a sense of pride, and pride fuels repetition. It is like training a pet, except the pet is your own mind. Every mark says, "You did it again," and over time, you become motivated to protect your streak. Visual tools also help when you feel your energy drop. On days when the world feels heavy, looking at the progress you have documented can give you a sense of stability. You are reminded that you have already succeeded many times, even if today feels slow. This makes you less likely to quit after a difficult moment. Stability builds resilience, and resilience sustains long-term change. The best part is that visual cues and tracking are creative. You can use a vision board filled with images of the person you want to become. You can sketch your goals as symbols. You can take a jar and fill it with small tokens for every completed task. The goal is not artistic perfection. The goal is to create visual reminders that bring your focus back again and again. But even with visual reminders, there is one more tool that dramatically increases success with resolutions, and surprisingly, it involves other people. So here is the next question. How can your social world become the greatest engine behind your long-term goals? Your social world becomes the greatest engine behind your long-term goals when you use accountability and encouragement with intention. We often imagine self-improvement as a lonely path, but human beings are wired for connection. When you share a goal with someone you trust, you immediately create a sense of responsibility that goes beyond personal desire. You are no longer doing it only for yourself. You are doing it in a shared space where your progress matters to someone else. This subtle social pressure is not negative. It is supportive. It reminds you that you are capable and that someone is paying attention to your efforts with genuine care. Accountability works because it taps into something ancient in the human brain. Throughout history, survival depended on group cooperation. The mind is still sensitive to the presence of others, and it adjusts behavior based on social signals. When you tell a friend, "I will practice guitar 3 times a week," your brain registers that statement as a promise. Promises activate a different psychological system than private intentions. They feel more serious, and this seriousness keeps you focused even when you feel tired or uncertain. Encouragement is equally powerful. When someone celebrates your progress or gently pushes you after a slow day, it strengthens your emotional resilience. You feel supported, and support creates endurance. This is why people who join walking groups, study circles, or online communities tend to maintain their goals longer. The presence of others helps balance your mood during setbacks. A simple message saying, "You did great today," can be enough to pull you out of a motivational dip. Humans respond deeply to affirmation, and when affirmation is tied to consistent actions, the habit becomes harder to abandon. There is also a surprising benefit. When you encourage others, you strengthen your own motivation. Helping someone else succeed reinforces your identity as a committed person. You become the type of individual who keeps promises, supports growth, and follows through. This identity boost becomes fuel for your own journey. It is a positive loop. The more you help, the more disciplined you become. The more disciplined you become, the better you help others. This social reciprocity makes resolutions feel less like solitary battles and more like shared adventures. When you combine the 3 strategies, small steps, visual reminders, and social accountability, you create a system that works with your brain instead of against it. You no longer rely on sudden bursts of willpower. You build an environment, a structure, and a community that quietly moves you forward. Progress becomes less dramatic, but far more reliable. And reliable progress is what turns resolutions into real-life change. Thank you for staying with me through this entire journey. If you enjoyed this video and want more content that helps you grow with clarity and humor, I will be genuinely happy to have you here. Please subscribe to the channel, join the community, and let us keep building a better year together. You are always welcome.